911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The state just pushed some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. Got taken to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
I'm not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay.
Have you ever passed by the wall of missing people? I mean, you see it at most gas stations, you see it at grocery stores, sometimes you see it out in public. You know, most people walk by, glance at it, and move on with their day, never giving it a second thought. But have you ever actually thought about the events that led up to their disappearance? The idea that somebody could be there 1 minute, and then gone the next. This is one of those disappearances that I learned about years ago, and it stuck with me. Honestly, never forgot it, mostly because of the strange events that led up to him ending up on this wall. This is a strange case of what happened to Brandon Lawson. On August 8th, 2013, Brandon Lawson and his girlfriend of 10 years, Ledessa Lofton, of San Angelo, Texas, got into a fight. Now, I believe this fight had to do with a number of things, but from my research, mainly it had to do with his relapse into using methamphetamine. He decided that to blow off steam or just to get away from the conversation, he would go and stay with his father. Now, his father, he called him at around 11:30 p.m. on August 8th. He called his father in Crowley, Texas, which is about a 3-hour drive from San Angelo, and told him he was coming to stay at his house. Now, Brandon left his house to go to his father's at 11:54 p.m., driving his Ford F-150, silver in color. And I guess Ledessa at one point got a hold of him and asked him not to drive that far at night. 3 hours, it's already past 11. It's a long drive. It's pretty dangerous at night, just in general. It's believed that on his journey to his father's house that he did change his mind and decide to stay with his brother. At 12:30 a.m. on August 9th, Brandon called his brother Kyle and told him that he had run out of gas and was pulled over on Route 277 between San Angelo and Berton, Texas. Okay, so I guess he ran out of fuel. He called his brother. He asked him to get him fuel. Kyle, his brother, needed a gas can, so he called Ledessa, Brandon's longtime girlfriend, told him that he needed to borrow the gas can that Kyle had. So he goes to get the gas can. Ledessa told him that she had left it outside on the porch for him. She was still upset about the fight that they had. Well, she left her phone in the vehicle to charge since Brandon had taken the only phone charger they had for the house. So she left her phone in the vehicle to charge. She goes to bed. Okay, now Kyle, the brother, goes to go get fuel and realizes that his paycheck had not cleared in his account yet. So he had the idea that he was going to go pick up Brandon. They would go get fuel together. Brandon would pay for it. He'd bring him back to the truck, and then they can carry on with their day. While all this is going on, at 12:50 a.m., Brandon called 911, which rang a local nursing home in Robert Lee, Texas. And I guess that the police department did not have the funds to have their own dispatch center, so they relied on a local nursing home to help. And this is a conversation that was had between Brandon and the woman on the dispatch call.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The state just pushed some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. Got taken to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
I'm not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? 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 Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance? Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance? Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance? Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Something I'd like to point out about him calling 911 was the fact that Brandon Lawson had a warrant out for his arrest. Now, in the call, you clearly hear that he's being chased by somebody, it says. Many people claim that they hear other voices in it, and, you know, if you have a warrant for your arrest, you don't call the cops unless you're looking to get arrested. Or you're in serious trouble. You need help. Which Brandon Lawson said specifically, I don't need an ambulance. I need the cops. That means that something serious is happening. Okay, so that phone call ended so abruptly that the police weren't even dispatched. They kind of blew it off, I guess. Several minutes later, at 12:56 a.m., a trucker called 911 to report Brandon Lawson's truck parked horizontally in the road. I'm guessing due to the fact that he ran out of fuel in such a manner that he had no idea. He kind of stopped where he could. So Kyle arrives at Brandon's truck at 1:10 a.m. and there was already a cop there. At 1:15, Kyle and his wife Audrey sent Brandon a text letting him know the cop was still there, thinking that he is hiding from the cops due to his warrant. Not knowing that Brandon had already called the police earlier. After receiving the message, Brandon was able to call his brother, and this was after he had already called the cops. Brandon was waiting for him at the truck, and he was able to call, but the connection was spotty. He let him know that he was 10 minutes down the road and that he was bleeding. Now, once again, they had no idea what he was bleeding from. Maybe he's, fell, hurt himself kind of deal. They had no idea that he had already called the cops. So Kyle and Audrey drive down the road and they wait for Brandon to come out, thinking that he was still hiding from the cops. They waited there for about 45 minutes until their 4-year-old child got restless and they decided to take him home. The next day, Kyle took 5 gallons of gas out to Brandon's truck, filled up his truck, and yelled, letting Brandon know, hey, the coast is clear, the cops are gone, and nothing, no response. Now, this is where panic really set in for Kyle, because his brother's, at this point, is gone. He's running up and down the road, he's yelling for Brandon, and nothing happens, no response. At 8:30 a.m., Brandon's truck was towed, and at 9 a.m., LaDessa filed a missing person report. Sadly, Brandon was never found, and no evidence, none, was ever recovered. There are many theories that go from Brandon staged the whole thing to get away from LaDessa and his kids, which I don't believe it, neither does his family. They have stated that that's just not the kind of person he was. My own personal theory is thinking maybe he owed money to the wrong people. Maybe they came looking for him. No, it's a possibility. I'm not saying 100% that's what it is. It's just my own personal theory. Now, another theory that people have is that maybe he was high on meth and just got lost in the woods and, eventually succumbed to the environment. One thing that people believe is that maybe he came upon some secret activity that the police were involved in and they got rid of him. Police say there is no evidence of foul play involved in his disappearance. Now, I want to mention that about 10 months ago, a skull was found about 3 hours from where Brandon went missing. Many people on the internet immediately started thinking that it was Brandon. That was a lot of theory going on, but this did eventually turn out to be false, and it was not Brandon. You know, there's a lot to take in with this kind of thing. You know, I don't have all the facts. I can't give you all the facts. So there's a lot to take in, and I don't know everything. I can't tell you everything, but this is some of the research that I've done, that I've looked into, and it just is strange to me that even if he was high on drugs, calling the cops whenever you have a warrant for your arrest, and mind you, I hold no ill will towards this man for anything he's ever done. People do drugs sometimes, you know, it's a thing, but it's out of character for somebody who's got a warrant for their arrest to call the cops unless they are in serious danger. Then afterwards, he gets a hold of his brother on that spotty call, lets him know that he is 10 minutes down the road and that he's bleeding. You know, he doesn't mention from what. I don't blame his brother Kyle for not knowing. It's just interesting that no evidence has ever really shown up besides his truck being there and the phone calls. No physical evidence, even with like the blood trail. They say there was nothing really. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think happened here? I'd like to hear your theories. Maybe you dug into it farther than I did. Maybe you know more than I do about the whole thing. But yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.